Hello and welcome back to the studio where we paint away the stress of everyday life here in Wales. And I'm just looking down and making sure my voice recorder is working because yes, I still haven't fixed it. So as you can see on the easel, I'm not looking at the painting today. As you can see on the easel, I've got this painting I've been trying to get finished for I don't know how long. It's got marks and everything on it, so I've got to try and repair some of it.
Welcome, thanks for stopping by. It's time to learn with our friend Clive. So grab your brush, have a great time. And don't forget.
So I thought I'm going to do a series of paintings, or a series of videos as I'm working on this. And today I thought I would just talk and answer some questions that some of you have so kindly put into the comments. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a little go at maybe putting some ivy. First of all, I want to put some ivy on this building, so I'm gonna put down the main structure of this ivy plant, because ivy tends to have this taproot, this tap thing coming out, and it spurs out as well, and from the bottom then it comes out, and it'll go that way. It'll just stick to the brickwork or whatever it's climbing, and it goes up the wall like that. And it comes in many forms, ivy. And I've noticed that there's a lot of ivy on the houses and stuff, and on trees and things where I live. So I'm just going to put these veins of ivy in. I don't need a lot of veins, is the word on here. I just want to guide where these leaves could possibly be. So it's going to get finer and finer and finer and finer. And it's just going to build like this. And then before you know it, they're everywhere. There we go. Absolutely everywhere. So I wanted to show you that these type of paintings can take so long to do. I'm not sure if I'm going to take that up onto the chimney actually, but this is a house that I studied quite a while ago on a walk, and I took my little dog Molly actually. So there we are. We've got some veins in there now. We've got some veins in the side of that house. So, first question is from STD0 1077. That's a funny name. Was you christened with that one? Very interesting information. And now this is in relation, as you can see on video, this is in relation to the acrylic painting retarders easy make your own. So make your own retarders basically. A video that I put out. Very interesting information, thank you. What I don't really understand is gel retarders. I know gel mediums that have retarders in, okay, but these are used for increasing the body or impasso effect. Wouldn't a gel retarder that is based on silica, once dry, lose its volume? Okay, so in relation to that, I understand what you're trying to say. Yes, you can get it gel impassos. You can get impasso to thicken the paint, but in this instance, that is not the case. This is not about thickening the paint. It's about retarding the paint. Basically, when you retard paint, all you're doing is making the moisture in the paint. So as you're making to explain it quite easily, is we're making the water thicker, so it evaporates slower. So if you add in a retarder to it, it either retards it on a molecular level, so it stops it from evaporating quicker. But if you're using a little bit of silica in the water, then it basically, it's like hair gel. You can use a bit of hair gel in with the acrylic paint, and it doesn't change the properties of the paint as much. But what it does, it slows the drying time down, and that's basically all it is. So now I'm gonna start putting some I'm going to start putting some ivy in onto this, and as you can see, this is one of the reasons I don't do these paintings on YouTube, because I could spend literally an hour just putting in leaves individually, because that's what I do on these type of things. Very, very tiny lumps of ivy like that. So I hope that's answered the question there. Basically all retarders do is allow the water to evaporate slower. That's it basically. So anything like a glycerin, you could put glycerin in the water, a couple of tiny little drops in some water, and that'll stop the water from evaporating that much quicker. Again, you can use a silica base, or you can use something like a hair gel or something like that. But you've got to be careful, because those things tend to be they're perfumed, so you know, you've got to be careful and mindful what you're using. But you know, there's no reason why you can't use something like that, because the way things are these days is so expensive. Things are so expensive. So I'm going to put some clumps in as well, so there's no actual definition of individual type of leaves, because they're so small you wouldn't see them anyway. But I'm trying to follow the shape that I think this ivy would follow. And there might be an odd little branch or a little twiglet that I put in. That might show through later as well. So, especially if I leave a little gap like that, and you'll see a little line there. It looks like that. So, but this is quite enjoyable when you're painting something like this. There we go. And just detail, 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 detail. Always detail. This video would be about 40 weeks long if I made a video of it. Right, how to insert canvas keys on a painting canvas. Again, another video. And this is from Mark Steen. And let's get a canvas up here and let's have a look at this. There we go. So he's talking about he's going to be talking about these there. These little things. I'll tell you what they are now. It'll come to me. A staple. It's a staple. It's a staple. It is. Now you can see where they've stapled right on the corner. Bump, bump, bump. So every corner has got a staple on it. Now, Mark is quite right in here, because he says you don't want a corner staple crossing the joint as it connects the two stretcher bars, so the staple stops the keys from actually pushing the stretcher bars apart as intended. And you are very, 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 very correct on that, Mark, I have to say. So personally, I would remove that one, that one, that one, and that one, because when you put the wooden keys in, this key will push that one, this key will push that one, and it makes a gap like that, and it stretches the canvas. But unfortunately, when you've got a cheap canvas, that's what happens. They put staples everywhere. They don't understand what they are manufactured. So, yep, Mark, you were right, 100%. Go to the top of the class with that one, because, yep, you shouldn't. Always check that, because if you go into the bother of putting in these little key things, then they're not going to work if those staples are there. They're certainly not. So we shall continue to build this ivy. Dump, 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 dump. And I'll be working on this painting every time I do one of these videos now, because I think that's a good way for me to get this finished. This project has been literally on the studio floor now for about 3 years. Oh, actually, more like 5 years, because we've had pandemic as well, haven't we? And I haven't got around to finishing it, but I want to finish it. So I need to get this. I need to get this painting done. There you go. And there's bigger clumps and there's smaller areas, and you can just put in, instead of putting these little individual things in, we can just put a bit of background colour in like this, just make it a little bit thicker, because as it's going up, it's going to be less of it. Depends how it's growing, actually. It's, you know, it's going to be less of it on the edges, and it's going to be. I think there's going to be more of it down here than up there. Is my understanding. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. There we go. Let's just have a look at another question. This is from Food Glorious Food. So I don't know whether they're trying to promote something or whether it's just a question. So we're going to read it out anyway, because I'm that type of guy. Hey, great channel. I wanted to ask for your help. Oh, that's good. That's a good start. I'm trying to develop a super heavy body acrylic paint like the Gaffrey white titanium white matte. I don't know what that is. Would you recommend your thickening gel until I've the right consistency so I can pipe it onto the canvas with my paint holding peaks? Much appreciated. Well, unfortunately, since pandemic and since the problems with the increased prices that I find myself subjected to, the problem is that I've shut the shop and I've shut down the website because because I basically it's just not economical for me to continue doing that at the moment, and I won't be doing that for a while. For the simple reason is that I can't get half the products I want to get anyway. So, you know, for me to make stuff now, it's cheaper to actually go to the shop and buy it. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. But you can get a acrylic thickening you can get a thickening agent, I believe, from what's that company called? I can't remember what it's called now. The company. It'll come to me in a minute. Let's have a look. Have I got any here? Have I got any? It's an American company, I'm sure. Anyway, I think, is it Liquitex? Yes, Liquitex. I think you can get it from Liquitex. Now that, I believe that's more an American thing than a British thing, but you can actually buy it. So I would suggest you, if you go along to the big manufacturers and have a look for acrylic thickening gel agent, whatever you want to call it. It's an heavy impasto thickener. I think you can just use that and get that to get it to do what you want it to do, and that's what I would recommend. If you want a thick, stiff, peaky type of paint, that's the way to go. Unfortunately, I can't get what I need in the studio now to make that, so I've tended to just leave it alone, unfortunately. There you go. So we've got a bit of that going on in there now. Let's get my little brush. Let's get a little bit of this darker area down there like that. That's looking quite good. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, let's have a look at the next question. How I make my range of acrylic paint. Okay, so this is a video that I made quite a while ago. Do you have the instructional video on how creating acrylic inks? I've been trying to figure it out for a while and can't seem to get it down right. Thank you in advance. From Joe Sicron. Joe, I've absolutely no idea. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know. Acrylic paints is not something. Acrylic inks is not something that I'm au fait with. To be quite honest with you, it's not something that I'm really that au fait with. So yeah, I can't really help you on that matter. I don't think. I can't really help you there. Joe, I'm sorry. It's not something I can't. I'm just trying to think as I'm painting this. But I don't think, no, there isn't nothing I can actually recommend either, to be honest. Not something I can recommend. No, I don't know whether I'm going to put a. You can see I'm not putting a lot of paint on this particular line. Let me have a look at that now, because that's a chimney breast. So we need to. What I did was I took a photograph of this house. And that doesn't look right. So what we'll do. What I did is I took a photograph of this house. And I've lost it. And I know where the house is. But I just haven't had time to get up there to take another photograph. And things change. When I started painting this scene, it does not exist now. It won't exist because it's not the same day. That's the thing. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yes. See, the way I've done that, I'm leaving that as it is. There's not going to be a lot of detail in that. If I do anything, I'm just going to slightly mist it. I gotta remove some of these paint spots and that. But if I do anything, it'll just be a light mist on there. And I want the emphasis is going to be on the building. That's the eye catcher. That's the eye catcher. Okay, what are we looking at? About 20 minutes. So we'll read another one out. 5 or more things you are probably doing wrong using acrylic paint is my video. So check it out. Yes, I'll try and put these in the iCards if I remember. Hi Clive, thank you for the interesting facts you were given. I have a question. Should I use an isolation coat before adding varnish to my acrylic paint? Linda McKeon asks. If so, can I make these myself too? I have tried going to your website to see the things that you make, but it doesn't show all you offer. It's just in cups. Yeah, I don't, as I said, the website is now closed, unfortunately. Isolation coat is always recommended when I finish this painting, because I want to preserve the painting, I'll put an isolation coat on. So basically that's going to be a solid a coat of varnish that will not be able to be removed. It's a non-removable varnish. Once it's on, it's stuck on there. It's not going anywhere. So I've got to make sure that everything I do is ready for that. So once that isolation coat goes on, it's done. And then I can varnish over that. So what that allows you to do, it's mainly for oil paintings, but what that allows you to do is to be able to clean the painting. So over a period of years, if it gets dirty and smoky and things like that, you can remove that layer of varnish off the painting, the removable varnish off the painting, which leaves that solid coat of varnish in place. So that in fact, it's like being behind a piece of glass. Then you can take the glass off. So that removable varnish is basically like a piece of glass that you put on the painting, but you need to isolate that first. So in order to remove that, otherwise when you go to remove the varnish and there's no isolation coat on there, you're going to start removing paint, and that's not what you want to do. You want to damage the painting, so you need to isolate it from the varnish that you're going to put on to remove, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I'm not going to spend any more time on that now today. I'm going to leave it there because it's a 20-minute video. I'm quite happy, and I'm quite happy just to spend the odd 20 minutes here and there to get this painting finished. So I hope that's of use, and I hope you've seen a little bit of detail in there. I hope that's helping you as well. So don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.